Hey guys, GGB here, welcome back to the channel. Now today I've got a pretty special treat. I've got Seraphim, and we're going to be doing a co-commentary on an online battle. Enjoy.
Alright, so I just wanted to jump into my build here. I learned from a few of these battles with the common player here to start deploying in these odd formations, and this is a battle in which I'm fairly proud of. And so let me go over first my right flank. I think it'd be easiest to do this. I have a spear levy up front. I've got a bloodsworn behind it, a swordmaster behind it, a Gimme bowwoman behind it, and a Woden's spear behind that. In my center, I have two spear levies, two bloodsworn behind them, a Gimme bowwoman, a Germanic slinger, a berserker, another berserker, and a noble rider. Between the flanks, I have a Germanic scout rider, and for my far left flank, I have a spear levy, a bloodsworn, a swordmaster, a Germanic slinger, and a Woden's spear. You want to go over the GETAE player's build, please?
Yes, sir, let's check him out. So he's got a number of bow horsemen at the front, looks like 3. We've got a couple of spear warriors, an armored spear, a spear warrior, and another spear warrior. So 3 spear warriors at the front and an armored spear acting as meat shields. And you would probably want that against the SUEBI. He's got mercenary axe warriors, 4 of them. A couple of those old noble swords, your favorite. We got a couple of these spear horsemen as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spear horsemen. Very interesting to see the change of build from this GETAE player. He's stuck with the same faction, but a very different build to what we had before. It's very compact. It's all in one little section, and he has lots of these spear horsemen and a couple of meat shielding units. So we'll see how this turns out. Shall I hit play?
Please count us down.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. So you want to go through what your strategy was for this SUEBI build?
Sure. I knew that the SUEBI, especially because of the fast charge, were going to be prone to basically spear horsemen or any horsemen in general. So I expected less of an infantry engagement, as he's only brought 3 noble noble swords, excuse me. But you can see how many spear horsemen he has. 6 of them. And I believe that he's brought them specifically to counter the fast charge, which he no doubt expects me to bring. And here I am again being cheeky with my Germanic scout riders, just trying to see if I could get range on these bow horsemen, but I cannot seem to manage to do it with the units at hand.
Yep. So this build here, do you have, is it Ariovistus General, is that right?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yep.
I believe it is Ariovistus.
So you got your fast charge, so it looks like you're probably willing to use that in the center with your Bloodsworn and Berserkers. What's the purpose of those wide flanks, your little sandwiches there?
I fully expected the GETAE player to bring a similar formation again, and so I wanted to be able to meet flank for flank what I thought would be appropriate.
Yep. Absolutely.
And out here we can see his bow horsemen are taking shots at my spear levy, which is precisely what I wanted. The spear levy are purely simply to be meat shields, essentially, to tie down forces in order to use the fast charge if I can get a chance. So, I see him moving his spear horsemen out here. What do you reckon is his idea here?
He may be, I think what the plan is to be overpowering one flank, and I think you wisely turned around your units and you're pulling that sandwich back, because he very well could take out one flank fairly easily, just by singling them out and taking shots into them, that kind of thing. And it looks like he's definitely doing it, just bearing down on you with these 6 spear horsemen. But that kind of just enables your Germanic scout rider to come in here and get some very nice shots in here. Bait out a volley from the noble swords. He only lost a couple of men. How do you see this going for you on this flank?
Well, the goal here to me was to pull away as quickly as possible, knowing that he would bring these spear horsemen in, and sure enough, here he does, right into the spear horsemen. But that allows my bloodsworn and my swordmasters to get in here, and hopefully to take away the engagement. Here I bring in the Wodenaz spears as quickly as humanly possible, just because I know their ability to bring down the cavalry is quite impressive. But he's bringing all that spear horsemen to bear, chasing down these Cimbri, which I turn around and decide to engage in melee, since no sense in running them away, really. But I also bring my noble riders right into all of his cavalry, and I figure that noble rider should be able to clean it up. And you can see he's disengaged, and I think he was brought off worse for it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, so far this engagement doesn't really seem like it's been completely worth it to him. I mean, you have lost half a bloodsworn. You've lost a spear levy, you've lost a Cimbri bowman, but you're able to reinforce where you can. It looks like you may end up losing another bloodsworn and another Cimbri bowman in the center there as well. But I don't know if this is going to be cost effective, because a lot of those units are quite cheap. The bloodsworn certainly aren't expensive, and it looks like the GETAE player is going to pull through your units anyway with his spear horseman and go for your bloodsworn. So a bit. I don't know how I would take that if I was playing this match, but this is exactly probably what he wants to do with his spear horsemen. They are heavy melee cav, and if they crash into these very light melee infantry, they're going to do a lot of damage, whatever they're attacking. But how do you see a noble rider faring against these 3 spear horsemen?
Well, now that the Wodenaz spear have come in here, you can see he's just in full retreat. And all he's going to do is take losses. Now they are faster than my noble riders, but my noble riders will give chase, and they're down to about half strength, and I'm doing my best to corner him, but the fight is all over the map. I've brought my left flank to start bearing into this fight, because I know that if I leave him out for too long, he'll just pick them apart. On the left flank here, I've singled out this spear horseman, and I feel that if I can get rid of the horsemen, I might be able to win the infantry engagement. I might. But those noble swords are certainly going to be very hard to deal with. I feel that at this point, my real strength is mobility, and that's what I'm trying to use to my advantage at the moment.
Yep. So your noble rider getting a nice charge against the spear horseman, and then the other 2 are going to come in here and pile on in. You do have some Wodenaz spears on the way, and Cimbri bowmen who are going to be reinforcing, but he does have a number of these bow horsemen that took out another bloodsworn, and they're now going to be bearing down upon your Cimbri bowmen and firing into the back of these swordmasters as well. Again, another match, they're picking up plenty of kills, like 50 something for all 3 of them. And your general is down to 14 men, and it looks like you've just lost him from this fight.
I did. And that was devastating at the moment. Generally when barbarian factions lose their general, that's it. If the balance bar isn't in their favor, and luckily for me, it was near even as far as the balance of power went. But at this point, I was very upset over losing my general, so I was getting a bit reckless here. But I was also trying to create a kind of I was trying to pull my units away to create a kind of chaotic mess, if you will. And I was giving chase to these bow horsemen with my Germanic scouts, because I'd learned in the last game that they needed to be dealt with before endgame.
Yep, absolutely.
Otherwise, they would just pull the same thing all over again.
Yeah. So it looks like we
shoot
do
my
have an
men in the
engagement in
back,
the
as it
center.
were.
So your berserkers getting into these axe warriors, and they're going to shred them. Look how quickly they're dropping down to about half men. You have gone berserk, so they're starting to run amok. And they're probably going to try and chase those mercenary axe warriors off the field. But it does look like the GETAE player has picked up a pretty nice spot up on that hill, so you're probably going to have to pull back, and it looks like you are with a lot of your units just staying away from that position, which is probably a very good idea. How do you see this kind of working out in your favor at this point? What were you thinking?
My thinking was pull back and use my skirmish power. I still have these Germanic slingers out here, and if I have any hope at all at this point, it's that I've limited what was an overwhelming cavalry engagement, and I've whittled down his bow horsemen. He's got very few spear horsemen left. And so I'm hoping that if I can let my berserkers do their thing against basically anyone, then I do stand a chance. The berserkers were essentially just the throwaway unit. He doesn't want to get too close to him either.
Yep.
But I'm more than content to pull away and engage piecemeal here, knowing that the Bloodsworn have a bonus versus infantry.
Absolutely.
So anything he wants to throw in against me, I'm more than happy to. Here I feint a charge and bring my Woden's spear right into the back of his spear warriors in an attempt to get rid of them very quickly, but eat a jav charge. So how are you liking my odds at this point?
I mean, you do have the infantry. That's the thing about the SUEBI. Their units are so cheap and so effective that you can engage piecemeal like this, and you probably will pull out a pretty nice advantage. These Bloodsworn getting attack order on the wrong unit. They got a charge from the armored spears, and the berserk is still going with one man left, just hacking apart these two noble swords. That's actually pretty interesting, tying down 2 units with one berserker. While the rest of the engagements can happen, and you can pick them out and overwhelm them. Because it looks like getting these berserkers, the other one that's almost full health, into this fight is going to probably pay off here. They are out of control, but they're going to be able to get a lot of kills. I don't know, can you see yourself defending your skirmishers until late game, or because you do have those spear levy out the back, but the bow horsemen are starting to circle.
Yeah, and the bow horsemen can take out slingers. They have problems with the archers in general, but it was imperative to me to keep any skirmish I could alive. And these berserkers now have made it into the backs of the noble sword. Luckily, they've chosen that target, and now he's brought all of his infantry to bear in one central engagement. I have my swordmasters in shield wall, and I've got my Bloodsworn mixed in there, as well as my Woden's, which can hold out an incredibly long time. And I've got my Bloodsworn as well mixed in here. I'm trying to match my spear levy out here against his spear horsemen, all the while just trying to corral his units before they can engage my skirmishers. I think that my skirmishers are key to this game at the moment.
Absolutely. Because I mean, I can't see you winning out the infantry engagements alone without the help of those skirmishers just yet. You are getting some very nice shots into those bow horsemen though. But another Germanic slinger is going to be taken out of the fight from those spear horsemen. And you have got a nice engagement here, just locking these spear horsemen down with the spear levy. They're going to get a lot of kills. These noble swords got absolutely shredded by the sword masters, and you're getting fantastic shots into the back with these Gimme bowmen. So very nice angle there. Good stuff to watch.
Yeah, I was certainly surprised. I had thought at this point that I had lost the game, and it was right about this point that I felt that there was a chance that I might be able to pull this out. So I used the Gimme bowmen and I put them into melee mode to take on this bow horseman. If you wanted to go melee toe to toe, I really didn't have much of an option there.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm bringing the rest of my infantry to bear. Otherwise, I am going to lose this infantry engagement regardless.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's it. Like the Gimme bowwomen do have like double-handed spears, so they can be quite a nuisance for horse units that charge in and don't get the best charge. And he's going to be trying to use these bow horsemen to get into the back of your units, which is definitely giving them a bit of a shock to their morale. But these berserkers, man, 156 kills, just chewing down noble swords left and right, doing a really great job. Did you see them being this effective in the fight at the start?
No, and because once they go berserk, it was purely luck of the draw that they made it into the back of the noble swords as opposed to the front of them.
Yeah. Oh man, this is tight. This is very close.
Yes, yeah, it really is. And at this point, I'm sweating bullets. And again, I see these Germanic slingers out here, you know, full strength, 90 men. But I'm holding off. I'm trying my best to hold off because I know that I'm causing damage to my own men. So I'm aiming at the bow horsemen at the moment as I bring the spear levy in. They're really just to try to protect the Germanic slingers, but I messed up here, and I tried to I left them open for the attack from that bow horseman.
Yeah.
But the berserkers down to 10 men, and the swordmasters losing that engagement in shield wall only down to 90 men. But the noble swords are down to 73, and it has them losing the engagement. So whatever I can do to hold them, and he sees this and is bringing a rear charge into the berserkers and the swordmasters, who aren't going to like it, while he pops headhunt and goes into shield wall. So at this point, I'm sweating bullets because I'm sure I just said, well, you know, this is it, you know, it's gonna wrap up. It was close, you know.
Yeah, if you're gonna rely on any unit in late game, you cannot rely on those berserkers. But it looks like they're paying off pretty well, and they're actually going after the right units, which is fantastic for you. You're about to lose another Germanic slinger as well.
It's very lucky.
Getting a charge from those.
I opted to charge and attack the bow horsemen. Because I know that the Germanic slingers are excellent in melee combat compared to skirmish cav in general, especially bow horsemen. So he's losing them here, and I've opted to keep my Germanic slingers, and now the morale is on my side, and now I've decided, I believe, to target the bow horsemen before they have a chance to bring in another charge, which is exactly what the other one is doing. So he just lost the other one. You think these Germanic slingers are going to stand up to this final charge?
This is amazing. I haven't, like, the fact that bow horsemen are that bad in melee combat, I didn't realize, because I kind of think along the lines of Germanic scout runners, that kind of thing, but they're horrible in melee combat. They get a charge in here, kill off maybe 2 or 3, but then they pull out and they take a lot of losses. Your Germanic slingers seem to be a real big nuisance to the GETAE player here.
Yeah, definitely. And what I'm doing is trying to pick off and conserve my ammo. With only 46 men left, I have a lot of ammo left. But I know that I'm going to lose this engagement to this noble sword once these berserkers go down, and there's only 3 left, and 65 of the swordmasters left, and 43 of the noble swords still in the shield wall. And so you can see I'm repositioning these Germanic slingers to get a more advantageous position on their left flank. If I had time, I would have opted for a better shot. But here I am now bringing shots into their flank, which it's all a matter of timing, you know?
Yep, that's a really good angle there as well.
I'm very fortunate here.
Yeah, I'm just getting right into the...
at this point?
Well, I'm getting right into the thick of the action, just watching a couple of these berserkers go at it. And man, this is some brutal combat. I always love getting right up close to the... because both units are brutal in melee. Like, the noble swords are hectic, the berserkers are... pretty fantastic as well. I mean, if you're comparing stats, you know, melee attack is always going to go in the way of the berserkers, but I think it looks like you're going to be able to overpower them. Very, very, very close. Oh my god. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh man. What a match.
Man, I was really, really pleased with this win. And I thought that the repositioning of those skirmishers was it. I felt that if I'd left the melee to go without the skirmishers, that I definitely would have lost.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In that instance. So I'll go over my build here, or my end here. My noble riders, they were instrumental, though I did end up losing them. All of their kills were against these spear horsemen, and I felt that was incredibly important, because if those spear horsemen were allowed more free reign, they would have certainly picked off my skirmishers. And as we saw, as it turned out, the skirmishers were what clutched it out, along with the berserkers. So 50 for them. Germanic Scout Riders getting 13 kills, pretty much probably wasted, but just tying down units. Kimby women got 114 kills, only 9 on this one, so probably got killed somewhere along the way. 31 kills for this Germanic Slinger, but 52 for this one, my MVP, my clutch unit. Berserkers getting 195 kills because it got into the backs of the noble swords, and what luck on that. 109 berserkers for this one. 163 for the Bloodsworn, not terrible. 90 for this one, which undoubtedly was charged, which was what I was trying to avoid, and he brought the right build to do just that. 98, 27, 45 for this spear levy, 101 for this spear levy, 57 for this spear levy, 4 for this spear levy, all because of that cavalry supremacy, really. Swordmasters, 89 for this guy, not terribly bad, but 280 for this Swordmaster, and that was the unit I assumed that went toe to toe there in the end. The Wooden-Ass Spears, 105. They hold out really well against just about any melee unit, and I was really, really proud of how well they held out, including this 78 kill, which went into cavalry counter tactics.
Yeah, absolutely.
You care to go over the other build?
Yeah, let's check it out. So 272 kills in that Noble Sword General. Pretty nice stuff. All in all, the other Noble Swords didn't do as good as you would probably expect. Getting killed and taken out of the fight fairly early before they could have got a proper, stick in the fight. But I think that was down to your skirmishes and getting those angles around and in the back of those units. So good use of the skirmishes from you. Those Bow Horsemen, again, being an absolute threat. Single XP chevrons on every single one, 170, 128, 132. Though this time they were unsuccessful at getting rid of your skirmishes. So, I mean, he would have been struggling with that the entire match and just thinking about that in the back of his head. So definitely a good use of the Bow Horsemen, but probably he needed to rely on them a little bit more even. The Spear Horsemen, again, a very good idea to be bringing these kind of units. They are heavy. I didn't realize that they were heavy. And that means that they have such awesome mass to throw around. There was a phase during the battle where he was getting into your light units, just singling them out and running riot, going for those Bloodsworn, going for those Word-Now Spears, just knocking down Spear Levy. And I think that was a very good idea, though I don't think he did enough damage in a short amount of time to kind of make them as effective as he needed to be. Because I'm sure this player knows of all people how powerful the SUEBI can be. We have Mercenary Axe Warriors, 4 of them brought. I don't know how good they are. I mean, when we're talking about armor piercing, I don't know how effective they would be against the SUEBI army that generally, I mean, don't have crazy good armor, aside from the Swordmasters and maybe the Word-Nas Generals. But they did manage to hold up a number of units fairly well, but they just didn't get the best amount of kills, to be honest.
No.
The Spear Warriors, again, being fairly good meat shields, and the Armored Spear, again, probably just being shredded by your Bloodsworn, to be honest. They probably didn't have a big effect on the battle, as you probably would have hoped. But very interesting build, good counter build to the SUEBI, and you could see that he was desperate to do a number of things, which was get rid of your Bloodsworn and kind of pull you out into different spots and kind of make you less, jointed. Because I don't think you even used the Oriovistus fast charge at all, did you?
No, I did not at all. I don't think.
Wow.
Didn't even get a chance.
Yeah, so even without the fast charge, man, Seraphim's a dangerous man.
Hey, now. Watch out.
So that was a fantastic battle.
I really did feel that it was a fantastic battle on both sides. We did speak a little bit about the battle, and he felt that he was very reckless with his horsemen. Because he did have such an advantage bringing them, and he knew well enough to bring the Spear Horsemen. And clearly, if you look at my Bloodsworn, 9 kills. He clearly did, my Levy Spears 4 kills. He clearly did use them effectively.
Definitely.
So he knew to do it. But what I also countered with in that particular engagement was my general. I brought the Noble Rider on purpose. Well, not on purpose, but when I saw the build, I brought him right into the engagement to get as many kills as humanly possible, followed up by the Wodnez Spears in counter cavalry tactics, and luckily for me, it paid off.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for bringing the replay. This was a fantastic battle to watch. I'm sure that we've got a couple more to go through with this particular GETAE player. Yeah,
no doubt. And Juju Bear, I really do appreciate you co-commenting these, because I'm really excited to share these battles with someone, particularly you, because I know that you know well enough to appreciate
no problem, man.
The players involved and the builds involved.
Yeah, more the merrier. Definitely keen to get it out to my audience as well. Anyway, thanks for having me, and we'll see you in the next battle. Hey.